Lindholm, and together with my two colleagues, Carlson and Joachim Högväg, we did a study exploring the viewer's visual attention to and trait perception of party leaders on Instagram. And I will give you a short presentation on the design of the study, the results, and then some concluding thoughts. But first, let's have a look at the Instagram feed of our Finnish Prime Minister, Sanna Marin. And as you can see here, she has a mix of photos from her public life and from her private life. She is speaking in the parliament, she is holding press conferences, and then she got married last year, so that is why there is this wedding theme here. But these two strategies of self-personalization are very common among politicians. In Finland, one study done in 2019, before the last parliamentary election, showed that party leaders show their professional life in 57% of the images, and then the rest of the 43% is dedicated to portraying their private life. And this pattern applies both to male and female party leaders. So this is the background to our research interest. We're interested in what happens when party leaders can choose how they portray themselves and what they want to communicate to the voters via social media. Our research interest is twofold. First, we're interested in the viewer's attention to and interest in the images. For instance, we look at how much does the party leader's images captures the attention of the viewers, and what is it in the pictures that viewers focus their attention on the most. And does the viewer attention differ depending on whether it's a private life or political life that is visualized? And also, what happens when it's a male and female party leader? Does it matter if it's a male or a female? And the second research interest concerns the image effects. If and how party leader traits are affected when people look at these images. So does the private life photos affect viewer ratings of competence and personal character differently than the public images? And again, does the gender of the party leader play a role here? So we conducted an exploratory laboratory study. The participants were young university students, so they are used to Instagram and they probably spend a lot of time there. And we randomized the population into 3 groups. We had 2 treatment groups. One group looked at private images of one male and one female party leader, and then the other group looked at public images of the same party leaders. And we chose 2 party leaders that are relatively similar in age. They are both leading middle-right parties, both have a dog that is quite often present on Instagram, and both are relatively new party leaders. So the selection criteria for the photos encompass some of the visual subcategories of professional and private self-personalization that has been identified in previous research. For example, here to the left, you see Anna-Maja Henriksson, the leader of the Swedish People's Party, and she's at home with her dog present. And in the middle photo, the guy to the right is Petteri Orpo. He's the party leader of the National Coalition Party, and he is portrayed in an everyday professional footage where he is meeting his political colleagues. And of course, we tried to find as equal photos as possible for both leaders, but it is their real photos that they have posted on Instagram. And then we also had a control group receiving no treatment at all. And the measurements were eye tracking for the visual attention, and then a post-test questionnaire for the trait evaluation. And let's look at some of the results from the study. First, concerning the viewer attention to the images. And here you can see a heat map. And the more red an area is, the more viewers have focused their gaze on that particular spot. So we found that viewers spend more time looking at the public images. And this was true for both the male and the female party leader. And there were neither no differences between how much time that was spent looking at the images of either the male or the female leader. But one difference that we found was that when looking at the private images, the viewers spend more time looking at the face of the party leader. And instead, when looking at the public images, the viewers spend more time studying the surroundings of the party leaders. And then the results for the image effects. When looking at the private images, there were no differences between the control group and the treatment group concerning the competence ratings. But for the female party leader, the private photos affected her personal character ratings in a positive way. And then the public images. These images yielded a higher rating of personal character for both party leaders. And concerning competence, only the male party leader got an effect from the professional images. So there were some differences here. I want to give you 2 concluding remarks, what this study means. But first, I want to point out that the results are tentative. It's a very small study, so more research is definitely needed. But what we find are that political images from public life work better than the private pictures because they are noticed for a longer period of time and they have an effect on both competence and personal character perceptions. And then again, political pictures from private life seem to work better for the female party leader when it comes to communicating personal character. So even though there is this potentially interesting surrounding, people in these photos, the private photos do not draw the interest from the politician's face. And we also read personal trait features from the politician's face in a private environment. However, Finland is maybe a hard case with a relatively low level of political gender stereotyping. So the gender aspect definitely deserves more research. I want to thank you for your time and do send me an email if there is anything you wonder about, or you can of course also read our paper for more details.